Make sure you read and reread so you can understand the problem. I let x represent one number. Since the sum of the two numbers is 17, the other number must be 17 minus x. So that's how I represented my other number. To translate to an equation, we're told the sum of their squares is 145. That means this number squared plus, because we're doing the sum of their squares, the other number squared must equal 145. That's how we translate to an equation, and now let's solve that equation, and then we'll interpret what we have. This looks like it's going to be a quadratic equation, so let's go ahead and square this binomial. Now if you need to, go off to the side and write 17 minus x times 17 minus x, because it's so important for you to see how to square the binomial correctly. But first times first will be 17 times 17, or 289, and then it'll be minus 17x and minus 17x, or minus 34. X plus x squared is equal to 145. That's the binomial squared. Now x squared plus x squared, that's 2x squared minus 34x, and then I'll have 289 minus 145, and that is 144 equals 0. So I did subtract 145 from both sides at the same time. Notice there is a common factor of 2 here. I'll go ahead and factor that out. So I have x squared minus 17x plus 72 is equal to 0. Keeping my 2, I'm going to now draw 2 sets of parentheses and try and factor this trinomial. X and x gives me x squared. What are 2 factors of 72 whose sum is negative 17? Those are negative 9 and negative 8. Yes. Now remember then, you set each factor equal to 0. Setting 2 equal to 0 will give you no solution since there's no variable. If you set this factor equal to 0, you get 9. If you set this equal to 0, you get 8. Now these are options for x. In other words, if x is 8, 17 minus x is 9, so the two numbers just happen to be 8 and 9, and look what happens if this is 9. If this is 9, 17 minus 9 is 8, so we essentially get the same two numbers, 8 and 9. You check, their sum should be 17, and the sum of their squares should be 145.